The Bring a Trailer Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Bring a Trailer Podcast. Alex coming to you not live, from Bring a Trailer headquarters in San Francisco, joined to play a one-year garage game yet again by Beck. Hey, Beck.
Hey, Alex.
And also by Zach. Hey, Zach.
What's going on, guys? I hear Beck comes with the hot picks.
He does. There's a little bit of a grudge match that we could kind of frame this as today because Zach...
What happened last time with Beck?
Zach always wins the popularity contest on Instagram.
It's because my tastes are so mid, Alex.
You're pandering. There's no doubt about that. But Beck also knows how to pander and absolutely crushed on the Instagram poll last time. Hey, buddy?
I had batting 1,000. I was planning on retiring. But then you dragged me back in here, and I'm very eager for 99.
Yeah, it's 1999, and I'm going to lose. So it's a two-man race. I'm very excited to see the two of you go head-to-head.
How old were you guys in 99?
The year I got my driver's license. I was 16.
That's why I feel like you're perfectly suited for this one. What were all the cars you wanted?
It's close. Well, a couple of them are on my list. I mean, like the cars, I was realistically like, what could I have? I don't think anyone's going to pick this, so I'll spoil it. 318 Ti was my dream car in 1999. That's what I wanted really bad.
Shoot, there's my sports car.
Yes, totally. There might be some criticism about whether or not that's a sports car. But yeah, 16 years old for me. That means, Beck, you were 14 or 15?
I was a freshman in high school. So cars were very much like on the horizon, right? I was thinking about it all the time. I was
You're dreaming of Alfa Milanos?
Dreaming of Alfa Milanos. Alfa Milano had not been presented to me yet, but I was definitely on Craigslist, like early Craigslist, looking at ads for cars. I was trying to think about where cars were for me in that year. And the cars in my life were obviously my parents' cars, which one of them was the 911 Targa that's downstairs. Mom was driving a 97 Ford Explorer XLT. And so that was eventually became like my car that I drove around. And at
Did you take your driving test in that?
Took my driving test in Daly City. It's much easier to do in Daly City than San Francisco. And I definitely was, at this point, I had an agreement where I got to get the car started every day. So there was it was just on the edge of...
Like for the warm-up?
For the warm-up. I was so eager just to touch the important controls of the car. Like, just let me have anything of this. And that was as much as I could get at that point, being only 14. But you were right there. You're getting your license.
That's right.
In 99.
That's right. Too cowardly to take it in a manual transmission. Took it in my mom's 260E W124. Yeah, did okay. Got a couple points knocked off for not looking over my shoulder when I was
Did you take
merging.
yours in a manual, Beck?
No, the Ford Explorer, automatic. So
okay.
No.
Yeah.
Honda Prelude 5-speed.
Well done. I think Randy took his in like a manual transmission too. I didn't have the guts for it. I had been driving my Carrozzieri, so I guess I could have taken it in that, but I didn't do it.
Zach, wasn't there a Volkswagen in your life at that time as well?
69 VW, good memory. It was the first car I ever drove stick on.
Amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, by the time I was getting my license, I had the Prelude locked and loaded.
You were driving the Beetle when you had your permit?
Yeah. I only drove that around for like a day or two. And then a lot of seat time in our Mini Cooper S. And I was like, I'm literally never going to learn to drive stick. I'm such a failure. I suck at everything.
That's when you were 15?
Yeah.
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah, and then now I'm getting like a little bit too deep into my past, but I actually couldn't get my license right when I turned 16 because my performance in high school was not up to par.
Oh, wow.
So I had to wait a little while.
Wow, a rare
This
admission
was a
from
parents' decision? Or
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I
All right.
know.
That's great. I love that you're like, don't worry. He's just one of the most important people at BAT. He's just in charge of most things.
Yeah, and I'm actually just a true degenerate at heart, I guess.
Welcome.
You can pick me out of the Breakfast Club lineup for sure.
Yeah, you're a good company over here, not with the Scoutmaster.
School wasn't testing you on reserves for cars, so
Fair.
it was their fault.
Yeah, it is funny. I think a lot of my old high school teachers would probably say I was destined to become a used car dealer. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah, totally. Like they issued you a plaid sport coat upon
It was in the
graduation.
yearbook, most likely.
I meant more like an ankle bracelet.
Oh, yeah, sure.
A GED.
Zach, you were in what, first grade in 1999?
I'm afraid to say, but I will say is that what I was rolling around in 99 was a manual dark green Infiniti G20.
Wow, that's kind of cool. That's kind of cool. How long did she keep that car? Did you ever get to drive it, or it was long gone?
I never got to drive it, but we kept it in the family for, like, it went to other family members and this and that, but at least 20 years.
A G20 is a Maxima or it's a Ultima? What is it underneath?
It's a luxury Sentra.
It's a Sentra.
The G20 had the is it the SR20? The good engine out of the
interesting.
Sentra SER.
Oh, okay.
So
The twin cam 140 horse motor.
Exactly.
Okay, very interesting. Wow. All right. I kind of wish you still had that car. That'd be fun
I know.
to like have as a beater. You were saying before we started recording that 99 is a little tricky. What did you mean by that?
99 is funny. I'm clearly so biased because basically my entire garage fits this bill.
Totally. I thought this would be like right up your alley. It's one of the reasons I picked it.
I just feel like the bench isn't that deep for 99, and there's not a lot of there's no, the F50 is earlier, and then you get the Enzo later. There's no GT3. No one's cheating and putting a 99 because 2000.
Oh, wait, is that off the table? I thought I looked up 1999 GT3s. I thought it was.
Europe, they had it 99.
Okay.
Oh, we need to
Let
make a
the
decision on this. There's
There's
going to
no-
be a slugfest, right?
There's no Integra Type R in the US.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, but it doesn't
So-
have to be US cars, right? You could buy a European car.
No, it doesn't have to be.
Yeah, okay.
But it's still, man, it's like right in between
Yeah.
two major years or a few that are just packed with heat.
Yeah. There are interesting like margin calls. It's like end of run for a lot of cars and beginning of a run for a lot of cars. So well, let's make a call right now. Is GT3 in or out? We need to know. I thought it
This
would be
really affects
in.
Alex and my.
Well, I think it's everybody's, right? Because Zach also likes those a lot.
All right. Wikipedia is our default. Wikipedia
says
says it starts
99.
at 99, so I'll give it to you guys.
Okay. There definitely are 99s for sale, but there aren't. I feel like I've seen 98 996s for sale too. Like,
Yeah.
but is it were they really 98s or are people calling them that because they were built?
It's like
in
people
98?
calling them 63 911s. Like,
Right.
they're not
What?
really.
I think 98 was a production year for the 996, though.
No, it definitely was, but I don't know if they were labeled as 98 model
I
years.
don't know.
You could
Let's-
definitely get like there's lots of 993s still in 98, right?
Mhm. Well, this is also transitioning for Ferraris. During my research, there's a lot of cars that are the replacement for another that are both offered in this year.
Correct.
Right. You can have 355
Or a
and
360. Yes.
yeah.
So I think those are both on the table.
And I think
For sure.
456 and 550s as well.
Yes, that's correct. So I tried a very different strategy this time, which is I just wrote a huge list of cars I like from 99, and I'm going to have to kind of figure out where to, like I have enough to go to every category, but I'm going to have to figure out how to jam them in. I don't know if you guys think about this strategy at all, but like I often prepping for previous ones, I've like grouped them,
Sure.
but then I'll end up using like a daily driver for my
They,
sports car.
they
or
hop
something.
around from
Yes,
category
correct.
to category.
So I've just gone big list this time, and I have to try to figure out where to jam things in.
I'm ready. Bring
You
it on.
ready to
How
go?
are we picking this selection?
Okay. So I thought,
Or sorry, unless you guys disagree and you thought 99 was super easy and I'm just being narrow-minded.
well, because I tried this different method, I came up with a ton of cars I like, but like, I don't know. I always lose. So like, I mean, a lot of the cars are going to be like, what are you smoking, Alex? So there's plenty that I like, but I don't know if they're winners necessarily, right? For the general public, but I don't want to say too much because some of them you guys might want, probably a lot of them you wouldn't. Okay. So let me refresh listeners on the game and then we'll dive in. I came up with a little bit better way, hopefully, to pick the order since it matters a lot for 99. So this is our 1 year garage game. We are going to pick 5 cars each for 5 different categories for a dream garage cars from 99. 1 car for each participant from 5 different categories. The categories being a family hauler, a daily driver, a sports car, a truck 4x4, and a wild card. So we'll go around. The reason we keep talking about, for those of you who haven't heard us play one of these games before, the reason why order matters is because once somebody picks a certain make and model, it's off the table. So order matters. What I've done this time is I wrote down our first initial on 3 torn up pieces of paper and put them in a hat. I'll let you guys pull them out, and that's how we'll pick the order. Super scientific, but if that's okay with you guys, that's how we'll do it.
Well, I suggested Russian roulette, but then some of us have
That's
to
right.
wait tomorrow.
I don't have a 3-barreled revolver either, or 3-chambered revolvers. Beck, you want to do the honors?
Sure.
All right. Who's going first?
Alex.
And
Oh,
what
first
category?
for me.
Well, then you got to pick.
No, you got to pick
second.
2.
Oh.
Yeah, pick second.
What if they're all Alex?
We're going to find
The
out.
deck is
Zach.
stacked.
Zach.
All
All
right.
right, Beck. Since you won last time, I suppose that's
Makes
appropriate
sense.
enough. And since you crushed in a way that I don't even know if Zach has ever crushed, that's the way we'll go. A couple of highlights for 99.
I'll never know what that feeling is like.
That's untrue.
All the Instagram validation.
A couple of highlights for 99, if you don't mind, just to set the scene. This was the Y2K year. This was the year of the end of the Clinton impeachment. Any guesses what the number 1 at the box office was for 99? I saw a couple big movies in 99.
best at the box office for 99. Oh, man.
Oh, The Matrix.
Close. It was on there. I saw The Matrix. It was Phantom Menace was number 1.
Ooh, that makes
Ooh,
sense.
nice.
By a lot. In fact, Matrix was number 5. Number
What?
2 was The Sixth Sense, interestingly.
Wow.
Austin Powers' Spy Who Shagged Me, number 3. Toy Story 2, number 4. And The Matrix was number 5. 6 is Tarzan, which I don't even remember that movie. Must be a live action, right?
Brandon Fraser.
Oh, right. This was also the year of Fight Club, which was a box office failure, but is kind of iconic. This is also the Blair Witch year, which I've never seen.
Nice.
Because
Well, you've
I'm
never
too
seen
scared.
Blair Witch?
No, horror movies. I'm
Wow.
too much of a coward. Have you ever seen it, Beck?
Yes.
Okay. Was it frightening? Did you see it in the theater? No, you would have been too young.
No, I would have rented it from Blockbuster.
Did you watch it in a dark room with friends in high school?
I think it's one of those things where, like, unless you were in the atmosphere of it, like, I'm sure it's so much better in the theater than it is to watch it home, like, during the day. But I probably did that strategically in order to not piss fans.
I mean, people were really like, is this real? Is
Right.
this
Yes.
real?
That's how a friend even told it to me at one point when she, like, showed me, like, an advertisement came on the TV, and she's like, no, this was a real documentary. And
Totally.
It wasn't.
Mika Hakkinen, Formula One champion for the year. McLaren drove that. Le Mans won by this may come up later, won by that super cool Dell liveried BMW V12 open cockpit car. I think it's just called the LMP BMW or something like that. The LMR or something like that. So interesting cars to choose from there.
And Slim Shady LP and NSYNC Millennium. No, sorry,
Oh.
Millennium's Backstreet Boys. Oof.
Yeah, this is like pure pop. Like this is the peak of all that. Britney Spears.
Dr. Dre, The Chronic 2001 in 1999.
Oh, interesting. I would have guessed that came out in 2001. I'd forgotten about that. That's amazing. Number 1 record was NSYNC, you said?
It's got to be Backstreet Boys Millennium.
Oh,
right?
Backstreet Boys Millennium. That's right. Is that Backstreet's Back?
I don't remember.
Okay. Just saw them on the Saturday Night Live 50-year music documentary. They were great. Came out and sang. It was
Nice.
wonderful.
Well, they could probably use the money, so I'm happy for them.
They look great. They sounded great. Backstreet is back. All right. You guys ready to dive in?
Let's
I
do
think
it.
so.
All right. So it'll be me, Zach, you, Beck. I'm going to start. So I have to think about something strategic here, right? I got to steal something that I know you guys are going to take.
Have you ever gone first, Alex?
I don't think so.
I think you've always been too courteous.
I
Yeah.
thought we let you go first when you lost really bad after the first or second one.
That could have been any of them.
Yeah.
Crap. I'm just going to do it. If we're going to allow the 996 GT3, and that's what I'm taking, and I'm taking it in sports car, and I want it in yellow, speed yellow, like my dot two. Though
Perfect.
my
No,
fa-
I stand corrected. 99 is first year.
you showed me one a couple years ago, Zach. Remember that yellow one? That
Clutch Sport Pack.
freaking that car, get it to me. That was a 2000, I think. But man,
I'm rarely a yellow car person, but 996 is one of the few models that I think is just right in yellow.
well, I obviously agree with you. And yeah, what do we need to say about it? The dot two, maybe people have told me this, maybe slightly better. It's seam welded. The guy who runs the GT program didn't come along till the dot two.
Yeah,
But the-
Andreas Perniger didn't
Yeah.
come in until dot 2. And the dot 1, for the most part, in many ways, was basically just a 996 turbo with the turbos removed. There was
It's a
Still
motor.
revved at 7800 though.
without the compression ratio, I think difference they were able to do more out of it. But other than that, it's basically that's how they got it through the door. And then it wasn't until AP came through and basically created what is now the GT program.
Well, they still sound fantastic. They look good. Sorry, Alex, I don't mean to hurt your feelings, but I think the dot one looks better.
Oh no, it doesn't hurt my feelings at all. I always thought the dot two looked better. It was the one that I first fell in love with because I didn't really pay attention to European cars when I was a teenager, right? And I remember that the red one sliding across the cover of Road and Track the first time I saw a GT3, which was the dot two when they came here. But the dot one keeps growing on me. And
Yeah.
there's interesting colors, and the fact that it's dumpier isn't the right word. The fact that it's like a little bit like less refined is kind of interesting to me. And it's the first one. It's the first GT3, right? That's the big thing. This is the true original GT3.
There had been a 993 Carrera S, previous generation, but this GT3 is obviously way more affordable and in many ways even more connected to racing and is spurned on this entire lineage that now is, we see it every day with people selling on BAT. It is massive now.
Yeah. Do you like them, Beck?
I do. I like him a lot. My dad has a 996, not a GT3. He's got a Targa, so I spend a lot of time in those. I agree with every concern that there's frustrations with the interior and with other design issues they may have had. But I've always thought that the 993 GT3 is just a phenomenal buy. I think the value for your money is fantastic. And
996 GT3.
I'm sorry, that's what I said. 996 GT3.
Great. All right. Done deal. I'm glad we litigated it before we got here. Zach, sports car for you.
I'm so glad I get to take this one. Give me that Zanardi M6.
Oh, yeah, that was up there.
That's on the list.
That's great.
I mean, honestly, I like the 7 spokes on the non-Zanardi better than those mesh type wheels. And I don't really want a red NSX, but lighter, coupe, no power steering.
You would rather have a Japanese spec. What is it? The Type S? What's the Zanardi there?
I think it is a Type S, and then there's a Type S Zero, which is that, but with different seats and a little lighter. And then there's a Type R. But
is there an R in 99? No. Okay.
And I think 95 or 96 is the last year of the pop-up Type R, and then 04, 05 for the next one. Maybe as early as that too. Anyway, I don't want to drive right-hand drive if I have the choice.
100%.
So
100%. Zanardi was like number 2 on my list.
Yeah, 1 of 50. I still think about getting one today, but they're so far and few between, and every time they come up, they're pricey.
There's a specific VIN that I would like, which is the one that Alec Cardio sold on our site that was the 51st secret
fender?
one. No, the one with the seat that was built for the, I can't remember his name right now, but for the AMA Superbike champion. They're like, what do you want? He won 2 back-to-back championships for Honda. And he's like, I would like a Zanardi. And they made one more that's like the unofficial 51st. And we sold it on the site many years ago for about $300,000. I love that one. I love the story behind it. Duhamel was his name. Miguel Duhamel.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Again, biased because I have one, but
Great.
Probably my favorite car to drive.
I sat in Mike Lasco's at our New York event, and I was like, oh, this is great. Those seats, the Alcantara on them, it's fantastic. Great pick. Great pick. All right, Beck, you ready?
I am.
Did we vamp enough?
It's tough because I lost my GT3 on the list here. But
would that have been your number one choice? Okay, interesting.
But I was going for in green, but yes. My replacement would be Dodge Viper GTS.
Whoa, great. Great one, Beck.
Blue with white stripes specifically. Won Le Mans in its class that year as well, so it's got...
You'd go that over an ACR with the good wheels?
I don't know. The GTS with the double bumps. Do the ACRs have the double bumps?
I think you can do no stripe or stripe.
Gotcha.
And on the roof?
Double bubble.
Yeah.
They're all. I think all the coupes are double
Got
bubble. Yeah.
I don't know. The GTS was at least
It's your
model-wise.
pick, Beck. Don't let me drive for you.
That's the one that was pretty iconic. It's the one whenever I think of a Viper, that's it. Not even really the first gen one, to be honest. So that's the one for me.
I think that's a great pick. Definitely was on my list as well. Okay. I'm going to go truck next. I'm going to knock this out because I'm actually vacillating between 2 and I need to figure it out for myself. So I'm going to follow my gut and I'm going to do SVT Lightning. I'm going to do kind of classic. Is 99 the first Fast and Furious act, but the shop truck that that Paul Walker drives, red short cab. Yeah. I love that. It's kind of an icon, maybe one of my favorite pickup trucks ever. It might be my favorite pickup truck of all time. I've never driven one. I've just always liked them a lot. The Clarkson review driving one around Britain where he's like, it's
too
huge.
Wide.
Right. And I'm like, it's a short bed, short cab F-150. It's like the smallest truck you can get here.
He puts like a bag of lemons, I want to say, in the back bed and says,
so
we'll just
salty.
make this.
Anyway, I freaking love those. So that's my pick for truck.
Awesome pick. I love second gen Lightnings. I love that they added the SVT badge on there because for me at that age, it was like a prime moment of like understanding how that relates to the Mustang, which I really did. But still, for me and my dumb brain at the time, I thought that was awesome.
Had that not been in Fast and the Furious 1, would you still pick it?
Yes. So I was deep into enthusiast magazines at that time, particularly Road and Track. Full subscriber, reading it cover to cover every week. And I remember it, Beck, you would have been old enough for this. I remember it feeling like, oh my gosh, there's like a sport truck. There's like a truck out there for sports car guys. That's what I remember. It felt like it wasn't, obviously now I know, not the first of its kind. There'd been Typhoons and there's a first gen Lightning. There had been kind of antecedents to it, but it felt like something fresh and new at the time.
I think it was 0 to 60 in 6 seconds, more or less. And so that made it seem like it was equitable to sports cars of the time.
The thing that always stood out to me was the ride height.
Yeah, body kits and stuff, right?
And
that's
some
that I can even see the scene in Fast and Furious. He like skids to a stop and it shows the alloy wheels and the body kit and everything. I like them a lot.
I do too. And it wouldn't be on my radar had it not been featured in that movie.
Oh, interesting. So that is how it got onto your radar. I mean, you were a kid in 99, but you must have seen that movie when you were, 10, 11, something like that?
Yeah, I saw it around there. But it's still, even now as an adult, that's like a comfort movie for me. Rewatching it, Paul Walker just looks so cool cruising around in that shop truck
100%.
in a way where I'm like, man, I wouldn't mind having one of those. But if it wasn't in that movie, I think I would just laugh as I cruise by and hope that you still got one day.
Spoon motors in the back, stolen spoon motors. All right, buddy, you're up.
All right, I'm going to lean into my yuppieism and go full blown and just knock the G500 Cabriolet off the list.
That was. Oh, actually, I would have done a G500.
You want a Europa?
Europa, the short wheelbase coupe. Yeah, exactly. Oh man, that's a great one, Zach.
Now, what if that takes it off of my family hauler list?
Oh,
sorry, you want cab, right?
Give me the
G500
cab. Drop the
Okay.
top.
Great.
Nice day. Run some errands in that thing. I think my family hauler will be practical for the bigger stuff I need to haul.
Color?
You look like such a tool driving one of these around anyway. I think I'd rather just have silver black, something a little
Great.
bit subtle.
That's great.
Yeah.
I think I've seen them in white, and there's like a greenish,
White
like a
is cool.
turquoise
Dark
color
blue.
too. Is there or dark blue? Yeah.
There's also, I think, a dark green.
I love those. They're
Just
great.
give me standard Mercedes, silver black. I'll motor around town on nice days.
Yeah. Poor Beck going third. This is Zach locking up his win right here. That's like a fan
Tie
favorite.
my sweater around my neck. I've got a tennis lessons.
Fantastic. All right, Beck.
All right, for my 4x4 pickup, Mitsubishi Pajero Evolution.
Oh,
Ooh, nice
interesting.
one.
I love the look of these things. They look like a toy. And I have the Hot Wheels version on my desk at home. And I feel like that's probably one of those few cars where they didn't have to exaggerate any of the body lines because it was already sort of toy-ish in how it's shaped. I think only right-hand drive, obviously. So unfortunately, I got to deal with that. But I would love to have one of those. I'd love to drive one of those.
The manual and automatic, which is kind of cool. Those the manuals are rare.
School me on those a little bit. Is that there's like racing Pajeros? There's kind of more plain Jane's ones. Is this like the most extreme street version of it, basically, with like the flares and everything? It's like a homologated version of the
It's a
racing
factory
truck.
wide body, short wheelbase truck. Kind of. I don't know if they actually are the homologation for the Pajero Evo Dakar trucks.
I'm pretty sure
They're
they
meant
are.
to hint at some of the things that would be on the racing trucks.
Correct.
Right?
I don't think there were necessarily tiers of them. I
Okay.
think there's just a street version of it. I don't know if it was for homologation purposes necessarily, but yeah, it's essentially the street
Big
version of it.
flares and like cool wheels and all that stuff. Awesome.
Just
Great pick.
wild, almost like Batwing-esque
Uh-huh.
ears off the top.
Totally.
So cool.
Totally. Really weird looking. I've seen one or two at shows around and it's always very striking. People always get excited. We saw the racing version in Paris at Retromobile, I think, and you got excited. Didn't we see one at the Mitsubishi
They
stand?
had the actual Dakar
like the racing truck.
Pajero.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
I think they had a long wheelbase truck though.
Oh, okay.
Anyway,
The Evo ones are, they're stumpy too, right? They're two door.
It's very
yeah,
short.
you get those
Yeah.
cool like telemetry gauges on
Yes,
them.
that's right. It has an like I think I've seen pictures. It has like inclinometers
Yeah.
and stuff on the dash. Yeah, that's awesome.
I followed one out of Monterey from Monterey Car Week driving up Highway 1.
What color would you pick for yours?
A lot of them are white, aren't they?
A lot of them are white.
White. They're all
silver.
silver.
A lot
They're
of
all
silver. You know what? The toy on my desk is red, so I took red.
Yeah, okay, great. I was going to ask if you can get red. The racing trucks are red, aren't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
The
Fantastic.
graphics.
Wonderful.
Man, give me a white one with those OZ white rally wheels and the red mud flaps.
Yes. Man, that's really good. You
So
said you
nice.
want a manual? They came in manuals. Is that right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay. 5 speeds?
Correct.
I'll take Zach's word for it.
Great.
I know. I actually looked at getting one of those for a little while.
It's
Really?
it's Pajero, not Pajero, right? It's
I don't know. I say
RJ.
Pajero.
I feel like that's what I've
I
heard
was
people
stressing
say.
that all last night. I'm like,
It's Pajero.
is it Pajero? I assume it's Pajero.
It's
But
just such a good Bay Area rig because it's got the ground clearance in the tires. So you can slam potholes. It's kind of practical. It's cool. Rides a little high. It would commute well around here.
Love it. Okay, I'm going to go family hauler next because I've got the car that I want up in front of me. I've agonized on this one too. I'll be curious to see if you guys pick either of my kind of backup candidates because I could have used those as a daily driver. But I'm going to go Mercedes C43 Estate, which was not sold here, but the wagon version of the C43.
Nice. I love those.
I love C-Class AMGs. My family had a C36. I loved it. I actually liked it more when I was a teenager than our 500E. We bought our 500E in 1999. My dad let me drive it back.
What did you like more about it?
It felt way sportier. It also felt faster to me when I was a teenager than the 500E. It's like probably not, although they were probably around the same acceleration speed. They were probably both around the high 5, low 6s to 60, something like that. I had was it called a G-Tech Pro? There was this thing that I bought with my buddy that we would stick onto our windshield and it would give you 0 to 60 in quarter mile times. I know now an iPhone can do all that stuff, but we used to go out at night when it was cold, when the cars would make more power. And I ran I think like a mid 13-second one time with the 500e. And I can't remember if I put that thing on the C36. I must have, but it just felt sportier and quicker. That motor is awesome. That big thumping 3.6 liter twin cam 6-cylinder. It was an early one. It was a 94, so it still had a 4-speed in it, like the 500e. It just felt, I don't know, sportier. It felt more like a muscle car version of an M3 kind of. I loved it. And I think they look awesome.
I do
Ours was
too.
black with chrome monoblocks on it.
Mike Barron showed up at Monterey, I want to say a year or two ago
With a
the
43.
C36.
No, his was a 43.
Was it 43?
It was a
Oh,
V8.
it looked
Yeah.
fantastic.
Anyway, until searching our site, I didn't know they made a wagon version of that. So very exciting. They only made 800 of them. Obviously, they weren't sold here, so I have to get a European version of that. But anyway, that's my pick.
Great one, Alex. I have what I'm acknowledging is kind of a cheater answer, but I'm going with the 456 Venice.
Oh no, that's a great pick. God damn it!
But there's not conclusive evidence online that they were made in '99. They made 7 of them over
What's
a
it called?
period
Venice?
of Venice.
Okay.
I think they made all 7 for the Sultan of Brunei.
We
over
saw
a
one.
3 or
Remember,
4
we
year
saw one
period.
in Monterey. Were you with me? We saw a black one was running around there.
Man,
this
I
year.
missed that.
Yeah.
But if you had the money and went to Ferrari in 99, they would have made you one though.
I think so, but man, you'd have to have a lot of money
They're a proper 4-door wagon, right?
or 5-door.
5-door. Yes,
Yes.
correct. Sorry, but like it's got 4 full doors. Not okay.
Yeah, it's
and are
It's
they
got
all
rear
gated?
doors and
Because those
no,
came with chunky, clunky automatic 4-speeds.
I'm
I
good.
think.
I'll lean into the automatic.
Okay,
I
great.
honestly don't know that they made any of the 7 in a manual,
Okay, interesting.
and it doesn't matter. And I am kind of a 456 hater, but something about the back of the wagon when you look at this,
I mean, they look fantastic.
how
I think.
much F50 do you see in there?
I've always loved these. I think these are awesome. I think this is an awesome pick, and I'm irritated that it's not mine.
I did not even know this existed. So
Oh, really?
very
This
happy
is
to
news
learn
to
about
you.
this.
Yeah, these are sweet. As a wagon, it actually totally does things for me. But the coupes we got in the US, they're not my favorite.
Great pick.
Thanks, guys.
I'm very irritated. All right, Beck, did we leave any meat on the bone for you? Actually, I know we did because there's a lot of mine that are still on here.
This is the category that also I feel like runs the largest gamut of different types of cars. Like I've definitely got ones that you could force into being a family hauler
Yes.
just because it's got 2 seats in the back.
Yes, we've
But
litigated this before.
That's about
Like, what
it,
was
though.
it with a notchback square 400i? Like, is that a family hauler?
Right, yeah.
I mean, could be. My family hauler is a Civic Si Coupe, right? Which people think is crazy.
It's
So-
you and 3 kids in that one too.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right. So I'm going a little bit different. I'm was about to second guess this one, but I love these so much. A Jeep Cherokee Classic 4x4.
Oh,
Beck, I have to say I'm almost offended that you said your mom was rolling an Explorer in '99 and you didn't pick the Celine XP8.
I also spent enough time in that Explorer to know that I don't ever want to own one again.
I've sent it, I think, to our like odd car spotted Slack thread for our company before, but there's a that's the Saline Explorer, right, Zach?
The XP8.
Yeah, okay. There's like a
supercharged,
broken down one
non-supercharged.
over by St. Anne's. Have you ever seen that
No.
one? It's always parked across from Andronico's. It's got a handicap plate on it. It's falling apart, but it's in different spots. It's always street parked, but it's in different spots. So it's obviously like somebody's regular car.
What color is it?
It's white with
Oh,
black
'cause
graphics.
They made the red ones with yellow wheels.
Oh, I don't think I've seen
Oh,
that.
man, they're out of control.
Okay. Even the white with black graphics is like kind of out of control. And like the body kits kind of hanging off. It's like natural state for an Explorer, I think.
It is. And that's part of the problem is that they're just falling apart. Ours in its final days was leaking coolant into the cabin of the car. So that was always bad. Jeep Cherokee, though, I think it's just a phenomenal tool for taking your family around and looking around in San Francisco. They're still being driven. Like people are still daily driving them pretty regularly and still going. They've got the same 4-liter motor as the Wranglers at the time. I like those a lot. I think they're just a beautiful, beautiful shape.
All right, sports truck for the weekend and the Pajero, and then got the Cherokee for the daily, I guess.
All the sports equipment that can't fit in the Pajero can fit in the back of the Cherokee.
Give me the spec on it again, because there's a bunch of different kinds,
ones.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. So I honestly kind of like what was branded as the classic. I don't want the painted
Right. I don't know
bumpers.
what that. Okay. All right. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. They're black, right? Contrasting.
Right. I suppose the painted bumper ones that came out later. And so, yeah, classic 4x4, the not limited one. The limited, I think, is painted bumpers. And just that in red would be all I need.
And you've got to have a 4-door, obviously.
Of course.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. Not the sport.
And a manual comes in a 4-door?
You can do a manual and a 4-door.
And you wouldn't care, or you needed the manual?
I do.
Okay. Yeah. And I'm sure it's a 5-speed in those. All right. I'm keeping track of all of our picks here. Okay, daily driver is next. Man, there's a lot still on the table. And I don't want to... I'm going to go with E36 M3.
It had to have been picked on this.
Yeah. There's another one. I don't think any of you guys are going to take this, but I was super debating a 540i 6-speed E39 because I
Also
really,
respectable.
really like those. And I think that would be such a good daily driver. And they have those cool 2-piece wheels in 99. But I love the E36. It's, kind of crapped on sometimes, but it was the M3 of my youth, right? So it was the one that I always lusted after more than an E46, even though I admit E46s are awesome and I just love the look of them. I know they're terrible and the interiors fall apart and all that stuff. And I was even in the early 2000s when I was a mechanic, they were broken a lot. And
because we
today.
can go rest of world, can we give you a Euro car?
Yes, that's what I would like. I would like a Euro Dakar. Man, I don't think
Dakar yellow.
Yeah, I don't think were they 6 speeds in Europe in 99? Maybe not yet.
99 is probably the year you get a 6-speed.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
the end of the run.
Yeah, with 286 horsepower or whatever it is. And that's kind of, is it actually the motor that's in the E46 or it's different, but it's closer to that than it is to the
Doesn't
US
it have
motors.
ITBs or something?
I think it does have
has
ITBs.
It's not the E46 motor, but
It's not an
definitely
S54.
still an
It's still
S52.
50 or
Yeah.
an S52. Okay.
It's
But
the E46 with 333 horsepower.
yes, but that's what I want. Euro Dakar Coupe manual with that patterned cloth interior. Robbie Pyle had one very similar to that a couple years ago.
Silver 6-speed.
Yep.
I like that car a lot.
Yep.
But then I sat in it and all of the door panels are just wavy, floaty.
Of course.
What was the last year of the E36 Lightweight?
Lightweight is 95 only, right?
95 only. Okay.
That
so
might
not
be
even
right.
close.
That might be right. But the Euro Dakar is what I want anyways.
Every single one we've sold has been a 95. So, and what they made 100 of them, and we've sold 13. I'll take that sample size.
That's a fantastic percentage right
Yeah, totally.
Pretty good.
Totally. Well, we've had a lot of the Zanardis too.
What we've listed like 40% of total R63s ever made.
Yes.
I got to pull up that stat. I think that's the best
that's
one.
right. There's going to come a time where it will be almost all of them, at least the ones that are still functional. All right, Zach, daily driver for you.
Oh, this is so obvious. I almost thought you'd spite pick it so I could. 99 first year R34 Skyline GTR.
Yes. Yeah, no, I actually didn't even put it on my list because I was like, I can't take that from Zach.
Thanks.
Yeah.
First year, I know Bayside's so iconic, but they look so sporty and white. Give me a white one, V-spec. Done. That's all I need.
Perfect.
Since you have seat time in both of those, why one as daily driver and the Zanardi as your sports car and not the other way around?
You could do it that way. I just felt like backseat all-wheel drive makes a Skyline more appropriate for a daily driver. And I feel like I'm cheating the game if I pick what's obviously a sports car for my daily driver. So it's at least a little more in keeping with what we're doing here. Also, the Zanardi has no power steering, which is on that car, it is a little tough around the city, that steering angle. And I would have sticky tires on it for sure.
That's a great pick. I knew you were going to do that one. Was that even on your list, Beck?
It was on my sports car list.
I didn't want to take it from Zach.
Thanks.
It's a good one.
Thank you.
I mean, we're probably I don't know. Why do you do your daily? We're going to have to, there's so many honorable mentions and there's a lot of cars that I'm surprised haven't been taken. Anyway, go ahead, Beck.
Chevy Corvette 6-speed.
Oh,
That's my
interesting.
daily driver.
I almost took this as my daily fixed roof or no, because the fixed roof coupe is maybe my favorite Corvette period, which is 99 only maybe, or 99 and 2000.
I'm normally very comfortable with convertibles and T-tops, but for this one, it'll be a coupe.
Yeah, but you know the fixed roof, right? The one that's like a Z06 with the little short back window, fixed roof.
Right, fixed roof, but
Yeah, yeah.
Z06 wasn't available for a couple of years.
No, but there's this body's in 99, you can get a coupe that doesn't have a targa panel. Do you follow me? Oh,
I did not know that.
Oh yeah, the FRC. This is like
And
one
you
of
can
the
get magnesium wheels on.
correct. That's my
Beck
dream
is on
spec.
top of the world in 1999 with the Jeep Grand Wagoneer,
Yes.
a Corvette daily driver, and a Viper for the weekends. This is really getting to me.
Take a look because this is what you should pick if you want to. I'll give you a little bit of my juju. They're called fixed roof coupes or FRCs. They're the Z06 body, but before the Z06 came out. So it's no targa panel and it has the little short back window like a Z06. There's about 4,000 of them. And if I recall, they're all Z51. So they only came manuals with like the sports suspension.
This is just what we list as a coupe, correct? Or is this something listed
Scroll
separately?
down. No, that's a targa panel. See how it's got the long back window?
Gotcha.
Like the hatch.
Mhm.
This doesn't have a hatch. The original idea for these, if I recall right, was they were going to be, I think called the Stingray, but they were going to be like cloth seats, roll up windows, considerably lighter and cheaper. They were going to be like 35 grand. What they ended up being was just essentially a fixed roof. That's the only thing. But the coupes, quote unquote, are they're all Targas, which look fine. And
I actually
they're pretty.
like the roof lines of the Targa better. I
do too. Well, in the C6, the Z06s are hardtops, but they still have the hatch, right? They still have the long back window,
Right.
but it's a fixed roof. But
I
in
just
the
think
C5,
the way the window tapers like that, those cars are so pretty and they've aged so well.
the reasoning behind it was light. It saves you like 50 pounds, right? Because all that glass is heavy.
Well, if I'm driving one of these around, I've probably gained 50 pounds, so it'll even out in the end.
You want the FRC or you want a Targa
I want a Targa Coupe. I think the lines are better in that one.
and a 6-speed?
And he's
Those
got
are-
the Viper coupe for the weekends.
That's
so-
right. That's the sporty car. This is the nice softy. And rear transaxle, all fantastic. And the interior hasn't fallen apart if you have it new in 99.
It's true.
Still in good shape.
There's
Actually,
a common theme with these interiors.
yeah, you and me and me and my E36, we share an interior problem. And I've got a 996. Great pick. Yeah, Beck's garage shaping up very interestingly. I love it.
Love the American flag outside of his gated community track home with all his cars.
100%.
There may have been an F-150 SVT Lightning if someone hadn't taken it.
Yeah, totally. Everything's red. What brand of ride-on lawnmower do the lawn each week?
Do the lawn of your 5,000 square foot lot.
Totally. That's great. All right. Wild card is all we've got left. I really want a race car because there's a lot of good ones. There's also some other kind of weird stuff, street car that I haven't picked. I'm going to do, I don't even know if you guys will know about this car, but I saw one in 1999. I went to my first race on my own in 1999, American Le Mans Series at Laguna Seca. Drove the 500E with my buddy Land, who I later bought my race car with. And this was the car that stuck out to me the most that day, although we saw a bunch of interesting cars. And that is the Panoz LMP car.
Oh,
Not an
yeah.
Esperante, but it's the front engine. Yes.
Yeah. I
And
know
they
exactly
look
what those are.
flat. Have you ever seen one?
No.
They're really weird looking.
Holy
So
cow.
the idea was there's no drag because the driver sits behind the engine. And there were two of these ripping around. Look at how long
With the
the
livery
front
on
is.
that one
And
is
look
gonna
where
be
the air
so
scoops
crazy
are.
to
drive. to
Dude,
sit
can
that
you
far back on
imagine?
the front wheels.
Isn't that interesting, Beck?
It gives me vibes of what was the Nissan Delta car, the
Oh, the front wheel drive
Front
thing?
wheel drive
Yeah,
one,
yeah,
yes.
yeah. Or you mean the pointy thing?
the pointy one.
Yeah. Okay. That was the Aero Wing or something like that. But there was also a front wheel drive Nissan
Correct.
Le Mans
When they went
car.
to Le Mans later.
Anyway, I've always liked these things. They're weird. I'm not even sure if they really won stuff, but they were mid-pack that race. The car that won was the BMW Del liveried car, which I also would have considered as a wild card. That car
Ooh,
had
that's a
won
good
Le Mans that year, and then it won that American Le Mans Series race. There was a GT1 there. Privateer Mobile 1 livery blew up after like 8 laps because those were 5 years old at that point, something like that. I think all the other cars that were fast in the LMP1 category were like Reynards and like they were kind of more spec cars. But this was the other one that stuck out, and they were crazy looking, like going through the corkscrew. The driver, as I remember in my mind, is like almost back by the wing. Like they're really far back.
They're at the top of the corkscrew and the front wheels are already halfway
Already
down.
halfway down, totally. Anyway, that's my wild card.
Man, I thought this one was going to go. I was going to say top 3, but probably top 5 favorite cars of all time for me. So I'm glad I actually get to pick it. CLK AMG GTR street car.
Good. Very good.
As you know, any prototype race car for the street is a 10 out of 10 for me. And I think that's the coolest looking one.
So 99's got to be the last year for that, right?
It's got the exact same steering wheel that's in your C43 estate, except just with paddles.
Doesn't it have some of the Zebrano wood trim in it too on the inside? Didn't they put a little bit of that in
no
there?
wood, but I think it has the same exact 3 Mercedes iconic gauges with the orange needles. That
Oh,
time.
yeah, love
and you
those.
get the hood ornament on it.
It sticks up.
There's so many funny Mercedes era quirks on those cars.
So 99's got to be the last year of those,
It is the
right?
last year.
Because when they flipped over the racing version, that's like 96, something like that, 97.
I actually don't think those cars raced in 99. I think their last year racing was 98, but they still had some road cars of the
Yeah, that's what
29 that they
that's what
built.
I mean. Okay,
In
interesting. Yeah.
99, they're racing the CLR.
Okay, right. But they're still selling, probably because no one wanted to buy them, right? They're still metering out the last of the CLK.
Yeah, they made 29 street cars up.
homologation, obviously. Love those. That's such a great pick. There must have been a GT1.
Yeah,
homologation
GT1
street
was
car.
my back if it gets
They were still
picked,
making
but
that in 99 too.
I'd rather have the V12. I think the Mercedes just looks a lot cooler.
They're so sick because the windows look like a CLK. Like it looks like a CLK that somebody's like stepped
the
down.
headlights,
Yeah.
the tail lights, it's all just
It looks like it's all
parts
been
been
smashed
Mercedes
down.
that era.
Yeah, I love it. I love that. That's so cool. Great pick. All right, Beck, you're closing us out.
Now, when you guys are talking GT1, are you talking Porsche 911 GT1?
Yes.
Yeah.
So last year that was 98.
Oh,
So
okay.
there was not a street version in 99. There may be people racing this, true, but the last street version was 96, 97, 98. 98 was
Or for the street cars.
correct.
Okay, gotcha.
Which is why when I was looking for my wild card, I was still looking Porsche. They were still racing the 993 variant of the GT2. I think
Yes.
those things have an amazing wing on them. They weren't terribly successful at that time. They were definitely on their way out, but a 993 GT2 race car would be definitely my wild
Still
card.
made in 99.
It's still being raced. It was at Le Mans that year.
Okay, we'll count it. Does
We'll
that
count
count
it?
if it's produced in a different year?
That's a tough one. I mean, there's a few cars like that.
I definitely, so at that
tracked
American
down.
Le Mans Series race, they were definitely there and they were fast. There were also E36 LMP cars there, sedans and coupes, and they were racing in that same class that there were no water-cooled, there were no GT3s at that American Le Mans Series race. It was 993 GT2s and E36 M3 wide bodies. Those were in the lowest class. And then Vipers and the C5R were in the middle, and then LMP cars were at the top, all on track at the same time. And I remember the 993 GT2s were awesome. They have the scoops in the wings.
Tons of scoops in the wings.
They
on
have
each
like
side.
wings on top of wings.
Yes. Yeah. Hugely wide. Do we give it to them, Zach? Do we let them have it? I don't know. Were they made in 99? That's the question. I bet they
Probably
weren't.
not.
You got a
Probably
backup
not.
pick just in case?
I do have a backup pick just in case.
Well, that's fine. It'll be the perfect segue into all our honorable mentions.
We're going to grant it to you, but let
Well,
me hear
thank
your
you.
backup pick anyways.
I was going to go Renault Clio V6 Trophy.
Oh, that was on my list for a
Nice one. I looked at those, but the road cars don't come till 01, right?
Correct. This would be a race car, the Trophy Series.
Yeah, somehow it came up in my research when I was doing it, but they were just the race cars in 99.
Right.
Yeah,
I think
okay.
that at this point in my old age, I'd rather drive to the track in my CLK AMG GTR and watch you two race.
Totally. Well, I'd like to do the same thing and watch you two race. Okay, let's go through honorable mentions first, and then we can recap all of our lists. No 550 Maranello chosen. That was
I
like
was
high
shocked.
for
I
me.
thought that was going to be your daily driver.
Yeah, I have a yellow one from the site pulled up, like one that I love with like low miles. So I'm surprised no one took that one.
Also, no Diablo.
I've been cured of. I sat in
Really?
Diablo, and I because for a long time I was like, oh, they're undervalued, and I want one, and like I'm done.
If Alex picked the CLK GTR and you picked the GT1, I was going to pick the Diablo GT as kind of like loser's choice.
Is that like a race car version of it?
The Diablo GT is that massive rooster.
Oh,
it's basically
right.
the street car homologation.
Totally. So
They're
when
cool, but I don't really want to pilot a ton of miles on that car.
when I rolled up to that American Le Mans Series race at Seika, the series that was out was the F355 Challenge series, and I went the next year in 2000, and it was all Diablos of some. So is that what they were? It was a spec series that had taken the place of the 355 Challenge, but it was all Diablos, and they look so big on track when there's like 20 of them. They were all gray, as I recall. Is that what that car is? That's the.
I don't know if they did a series
Okay.
for him or not, honestly. I just know that massive rooster.
These were all Diablo race cars with a huge
There you
scoop
go.
on the roof. But I don't know if it's that exact model, but it was some kind of a race car spec series. Anyway, I was surprised by that. No 360 or F355.
360 was going to be my backup for the Zanardi, which I thought might go.
I was thinking about it. It's on my list.
And I would actually take a 360 over an F355.
Okay, that's
Maybe
interesting.
that was my next question.
I was going to ask that. Yeah.
Where do you guys stand on that?
I was going to go F355. Berlinetta, which I think is the kind of prettiest modern Ferrari.
That's what I had on my list. for sports car.
F355s sound better. Looks are subjective, but I can understand why people think they look better. But it's too similar to an NSX with pop-up lights, I think. And man, I just like when Ferraris have curves. And that era's kind of gone.
I like both of them a lot. It's like a tough one for me.
Same,
And I
for
also
sure.
kind of had a hard time figuring out if they were still making 6-speed 355s in 99. A lot of them are F1s. And so I was wondering, still in
That's what I
99.
found at least. Yeah.
Okay, all right. I was wondering if they kept carrying the F1 on while the 360 came out with stick. I couldn't quite figure that out.
I
why there
don't
was
hear a
overlap.
lot of people say wonderful things about driving those cars super hard, too.
I know. I think everyone's scared of them.
I know. I want to talk to someone that's properly like wrung one out. Because what's nice about the 360 is you can beat on it.
Totally. As you and I know very well.
Yeah. You can let other people beat on it.
Yeah, totally. That's right. E55 in white, I considered for daily driver or family hauler. I've always liked those cars, especially in white, the original E55. I really like those. Those cars do anything for you guys. A lot of people don't like that 4-headlight body style, but I do.
An E55 wagon is the search term that I'm looking for a lot these days.
But you want newer than that. You don't want a 99. You don't want that
Probably
OG.
not.
Yeah.
Mid 2000s is probably more what I'm looking for.
No Civics, Civic Type R, I thought about. That was
Civic
available
SI
in
also,
SI.
but no US Integra Type R in 99.
Correct. Is the Zanardi the only Honda product? 99 is like a good era for Hondas, and I think that is our only Honda product.
99 is the first year of the rest of world S2000 also. But I'd rather wait a year and get a left-hand
One
drive.
of my bullet points on the side is like 99 is a really good year for not US cars. Like there's a lot of really good cars not in the US.
Well, it's when like, I think Europe is still not really clamped down on emissions in the same way that they have now. And so, sure, there's stuff in the US. A perfect example is E36 M3.
Yep.
Right? We don't get the right motor for that one. The one that I was also on my list for a while was Ford Focus RS. So the Euro version, which we never got the RS
is
car.
that turbo and all-wheel drive and stuff?
For the RS cars, yes.
Okay.
And that was, I believe, a Colin McRae year when he's driving for Ford. And that would be an awesome car to be tooling around the city.
Those are the little original two-door Focus?
Yeah, little two-door, very angular. It's kind of egg-shaped with all the
Is it the one that was
lines.
an SVT here in
Correct.
the US?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yes.
I like those little SVT ones here, but I remember the disappointment that you
Correct.
couldn't get
You're
the...
not getting the real one.
Right.
Sylvia S15.
Oh,
Great
good
pick
one.
for
I looked at
rest of
those.
world.
Yep. E38, 740, shorty, sporty. No one picked that.
Yep.
I thought that might go somewhere. Family hauler or
Honda
daily.
Prelude SH.
Yes. Yep. I thought about
97
those.
is row one. You got more options for there.
No Bentleys or Rolls. Continental R. I thought about a little
Continental
bit.
R's are cool.
Yeah. Noodled on that one as like a daily or something like that.
My eyes glazed over.
Yeah, it's not the highlight
No.
for Rolls in particular.
It's my very last one here on my long list. So it's at the end, but I did put it down.
My last one on the list for that would be a GMC Suburban SLT.
Oh, interesting. So the trucks are pretty strong this year. I like the Chevy trucks. I had, I think, pulled up here. Yep. I love Tahoes from this.
Yes.
Was all the rich kids in my high school drove.
Mhm.
So stuff like that. Cummins, Dually, Ram in the kind of, the original retro body style with a 6-speed. That was on my long list for trucks. I really like those a
no
lot.
love for M Coupes, huh? That seems like such an Alex Porter car to
We
me.
talked about this last time on the 2006 pod that we did with Randy. My love has shifted to the Z4 Coupe. Interestingly.
Z4
But is there a
great.
Z3 M Coupe in this year in 99? Or is it just
No, there is. The
Yeah.
Clown
an M
Shoe?
version? Okay.
Yeah. Clown Shoe's in 99.
Gotcha.
S54 comes in 2000. It's still
Yep.
an S52.
That's still an S52. And you can also get them non-M, which is interesting. I think Patrick had one of those.
Patrick, yeah. Shout out.
Yeah, I loved Clown Shoes for a long time. That's one of the cars that BAT has killed for me a little bit. Like I still acknowledge they're cool, but my personal desire for one has all those years of editing and this mini came with this interior color and the Imola over whatever. I'm just like, I've petered out. And Z4, and especially driving Robert Z4 M Coupe, I'm like, that's the one if I was going to get an M Coupe of some kind. But really, I always like the M3 better. It's got a back seat and it's a little more iconic.
Oh, I forgot to ask. I was going to ask if you'd rather a sedan for your M3.
I think if I was going to make the family hauler, yes. Like of US spec cars, a M345 is my favorite. But if you're going Euro spec, like something about that, just the coupe feels a little more sporty, feels more right for that.
The proportions
look
of the
better.
E36 M3 is fantastic.
They're beautiful.
Whereas
cars.
I think the proportions for the sedan of the E46 is almost better than the coupes.
Yeah, and there's no sedan.
Oh, really,
which is a
Beck?
bummer.
Do you think that because you own a E46 sedan by chance?
Should we also go through the cars that you own that you've listed on here too?
Oh man, I like the E36 the
I was
most.
behind a Interlagos E46 M3 on the way here, and I was like, that car is perfection.
They're really good. It's a really good design.
Man.
I like E30s, E36s, and E46s, but the E36 is my favorite. That's my favorite M3.
E36 is your favorite M3?
It is.
We could even knock this out right here, right now. M3's ranked.
Oh, that's interesting. For me, it would be 36, 46, 30, and then all the rest I don't care about.
Yeah, throw the rest.
Throw the rest up the cliff. I actually can't even name all the like the F chassis, like F80s.
No, once it
and
goes to the
stuff.
other letters, it doesn't work.
Sorry, I would put the V8 under the E30 because I do like those.
Yes.
E92.
E9.
Actually, I like the E90, the sedan
Mhm.
on those. And then everything else, all the twin turbo 6-cylinders can all go into a fire pit.
Fair.
Even though I'm sure they're monster cars, and I've even softened a little bit on the double snout car, but they're so freaking big, dude. They're like the size, they're bigger
5
than
series.
M5s. Yeah, I know. Yeah. What about you guys?
I'm not too different at the bottom of my list, but E30 number one, then E46. I don't like E36s.
It's fine.
Or E92s. So
I think this is a generational difference between us, right? Because like this was the hot car when I was 16, was the E36. That's why it's imprinted on me.
Yeah. Do you remember that Car and Driver? Best handling car, and the Honda Prelude, I think, beat out the E36. Or maybe that was Automobile. One of them.
I know the test you're talking
So
about.
as a Honda Prelude owner at the time, I was like,
Ultimate pride.
obviously. But I didn't have an SH. The SH was the one I wanted. Anyway, yeah, 30, 46. I guess if you're going Euro with a good Euro motor, E36 for sure. Because I don't particularly care for E92s.
Yeah.
I'll do that next because I want that NA BMW motor. Yep. And then doesn't really matter below that.
Can you even list the chassis numbers after that? Is it F80?
I can do F80 and
there's two past that, right?
G85. Is that right?
And then the new one? Is there 3 generations after the E90s?
Once they split the
G80,
generations,
sorry,
G. Once they split it up so the chassis code for the non-M car was different than the M car, then I completely lost track.
Okay. What about you? What's your ranking?
Oh, gosh, it's hard. I would probably do 46 first. I remember seeing that on the cover of magazines and that being 333.
Well, I'm glad I asked because we all have a different number.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah. Then after that would be E30. Also have owned an E30, but not an M3. And I just love those cars. Lots of memories in those. E90, specifically the sedan, for a long time was cross-shopping that as a possible replacement for my ZHP. And then last but not least, E36.
Yeah, interesting. And then everything else goes into a fire pit.
Then whatever they are.
Just crash the F80 into the G80.
Totally.
Drive out of there in my E30.
They're all 8 owners and salvage title anyway. That's interesting. We all have very different rankings. That's kind of telling, but also all of us put the original 4 at the top 4 and then everything else doesn't matter. So that's also interesting. Come on, BMW. Get it together. Any other honorable mentions from you guys?
Backstreet Millennium.
Oh, dude, totally. There you go.
I did have listed on here.
Definitely listen to that on CD in your, could you get a Mazda Millennium in 1999?
Ooh, nice. Those are super interesting with a supercharged 6-cylinder.
Yep.
I don't know if that powertrain went in anything else.
It was the successor to the 929, or it was like the last 929, I think. My high school girlfriend had one of those, a 929.
Man, those are funky cars. It's a deep cut, the Millennium.
Yeah.
How many Millennium editions are there out there? I feel like there's several.
Probably a lot. And I bet a lot of them are not necessarily in association with the end of the millennium. It's just a cool word that marketers like, probably. All right, let me recap the list and then we can get the heck out of here. The big question is, did I benefit from getting to go first? I don't know. It definitely felt different. It's interesting. I don't think I ever have, Zach, because I get to pick the categories and I don't remember doing that before. So my list: sports car, 996 GT3 in speed yellow, truck, SVT Lightning, F-150. I would like that in red, by the way. Family hauler, C43 AMG Estate, daily driver, Euro E36 M3 in Dakar with a manual. And wild card is the Panoz LMP1 race car. Zach, sports car, Zanardi NSX, truck, G500 Cabriolet, family hauler, 456 Venice. Happy to go with the slush box. That may be the only option. Daily driver, R34 Skyline, white, V-Spec, wild card, CLK GTR, street car. Beck, sports car, Dodge Viper GTS. Did you have a color on that one that you want?
Blue with white
blue with white stripes. You said that. Truck, Mitsu Pajero Evo 5-speed in red. Family hauler, Jeep Cherokee Classic 5-speed. Got to have a 4-door. Daily driver, C5 Coupe with a target top, 6-speed. And wild card, 993 GT2 race car, which may be a cheat, but we're letting them have it.
You can
anyway.
have pity on me.
Any predictions? Who's going to win there? Zach is the winner again.
My mid tastes, I think, are going to propel me to the leaderboards.
I think they will too. What do you think, Ben?
I don't know, but the 456 is not really a mid taste. That's pretty eccentric, but I think that it pulls out something that's so obscure and interesting that it might actually work as well.
Skyline and
think
NSX might seal it.
That wagon next to your Jeep Grand Wagoneer.
I think the safest thing to say is that I'm going to lose. Thanks, boys, for doing this. What a pleasure.
Don't underestimate the E36 fanboy community. They may come after us.
They may come out.
There may be like a severed E30 steering wheel on my lawn the next day after my rankings.
Once the Instagram post goes up, I need to hit up some of those communities on the dark corners of the web and get them to come over.
E36 gang.
That's the headline for this podcast, right? Is 2/3 of BAT hate the E36.
Totally. And we're going to put your names and pictures of you at the top. Any parting shots?
No, I'm looking forward to the memorial post of me and Beck after our words about the E36.
R.I.P. Thanks for doing another one, Beck. Always a pleasure. Thank you, Zach. Always a pleasure. And thank you all for listening. We look forward to hearing what you think about our lists. And we, of course, as always, want to hear yours. Feedback, ideas, suggestions, complaints, please send them to podcast@bringatrailer.com. Thanks as always for listening, and we'll catch you next time.